Welcome everybody to Schofield's Flowers Social Hour. And we have some big news here. And well, hold on, let's do that over. I'm Steve Schofield, and then you can do, I'm Chris Fratty. I'm sorry. Welcome.
You still can't say my name.
Welcome everyone to Schofield's Flowers Social Hour, episode 20. Enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to Schofield's Flowers Social Hour. I'm Steve Schofield. A lot of people know me as Scof.
And I'm Chris Fratterigo. People call me Fratty.
Or I call him, I can never get his last name straight, so I'm not even going to go there.
Smart.
20 years. So Fratty, wow, we got a great show today. And we have a great MC. We have Nicola Angelos from Shagbagg as our MC, because we have an incredible designer that we'll be talking with today, Jack King from LC King MFG out of Bristol, Tennessee.
All right. I'm so excited for this one. When you told me we were getting Jack on and talking to, the guy that owns LC Kings, I was like, holy cow, like this is a brand that I've been following, that I have some of their jackets from, like absolutely love what they're doing. And so I was like a kid in, a candy shop, and with Cola emceeing it. Obviously she asked a lot of the questions, but being able to ask a few myself, and kind of get some answers to some things that I was curious about was really exciting.
Yeah.
And
100-year-old company. 100-year-old
right.
company, right? I mean, he's the modern day Levi Strauss right now.
Right. Yeah, fully independent. I mean, literally, he's in the shop, working on garments too. So it's not just like, other people are doing the work and he's up in the office, doing the paperwork. Like when you get a jacket or pants or, whatever, at some point he probably stitched something on there.
Yeah, he takes it real personal. I mean, I love his wear. You can dress it up, dress it down, whatever you want to do. So with talking about dressing up and dressing down, since everybody's into their lounge wear and everything, or we never get out of our sweatpants, which I have on underneath this table. Just got the shirt on. Of course, you're sitting there naked, below the waist, but
it's easier access. I need to use the restroom. I can just, right here, real quick. No one knows, and we keep going.
But today I'm going over to Nicola's, and we're gonna pick. She's picking up the smoking jacket that I've designed with her as a collab, and I'm telling you what, I can't wait to see it, because we really talked about it last night too. After she saw it, and she had made some changes yesterday and everything. Is that we want it to be? It's a co-op between a male brand and a female brand, and like we want to make it unisex. And now it's like going to be for a guy, we have it a certain length. It'll be a little longer on me. It'll be a little shorter on somebody like you and Steph and that. And then yet on a girl, it could be almost like the robe. And so for you men, they buy this smoking jacket. You better just buy two and get one for your girlfriend or your wife.
I know. I mean, all my hoodies and sweatpants just get stolen by my wife. Like, and then I'll be like, hey, what size? I'll be buying her a sweatshirt. And I'll be like, what size do you want? She's like, oh, just a medium. And, and I'm like, how about I just get a large and I can wear it too, because I know you like to wear mine and you like your sweatshirts bigger, and I'll probably never wear it, but just in case I want it, I can steal yours.
Yeah, right. So that's I mean, same thing with Judy. I mean, I think a big baggy sweatshirt on a cold day in the fall and everything is great. So let's talk about staying at the house. I heard you've been taking some self-defense classes.
I have, yeah. No, it's oh. Whoa. But yeah, no, I've been doing some self-defense training. Right now there's a bullet shortage, so instead of using up my ammo, going to a gun range, learned about this place and tried it out, and really it's very different. It's not so much about practicing your shooting. There's a lot of technique that is being taught in your practicing, but it's not so much the actual shooting, although there is accuracy that they can test, and they're using these they're real guns, handguns that have been modified to not shoot a bullet but have a CO2 magazine, and then there's a infrared laser at the end. So when you point and shoot, it can track where you aimed, and it gives a recoil to the slide through the CO2, mimicking, when you take a shot. And it's in a warehouse, and it has 3 panel projector screens, and you're running scenarios anything from, you're out at a bank and you're at the ATM and you're withdrawing cash. You got a CCW, which is a concealed weapons carry permit. If you live in LA, you probably don't have one of those because that's LA County. Orange County, you can kind of get one, but still pretty hard. You live in Arizona, you don't even need one. You can just have one. But you're at an ATM, you have your CCW here in California, and someone behind you has a crowbar, and they're trying to get your money. What can you do? What should you do? And really, their big MO is to de-escalate because what they want you to do is to be alive and go home, meaning you're not going to jail. And so just because someone has a crowbar and they're asking for your money, you can't just pull out your gun and shoot them unless certain things happen. And they teach you that, and they are able to walk you through scenarios. And for me, it's more about home defense. Got the wife and kid here, and no one wants to think that they're ever going to be a victim, but that's why you do this, is so that hopefully you never use it, but if you have to, you know how to. Just like you have insurance. Like you have insurance on your car, you don't ever hope to get into a car accident, but if you do, you have this insurance. And to me, this is all the same. And so just learning a lot about how to do it, how to draw from a holster, certain techniques to do so. And it's been like I said, very educational, but it's also a lot of fun. It's kind of stressful though, because one scenario is like you're up at 3 a.m. and you're walking through your house because you hear something downstairs, and you have no idea when or if something's going to jump out. Like sometimes they have ones where you start shouting out like, "Hey, who's there? You need to leave," and then no one, they leave and no one's ever there. So you're just kind of like clearing the house. Other times, like last second, someone jumps around a corner. They already got their gun drawn, and what do? And so it's very you do in that situation. Yes, you do. But it's very high pressure, high anxiety while you're there. But it is still fun because it's like kind of playing a game, but I think more intense, and you treat it as if this is real. This is what's happening. So although it's fun, it's a scenario I hope I never get into.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. Well, I mean, I got to show you my gunslinging here. Here it is. Look at that. I'm like kicking some ass. I'm in Tombstone.
Yeah.
Went into my slow motion shot there.
And I got to tell you, your form's pretty good there, Scof. When you draw from a holster, the idea is you want to go straight up.
Yep.
Get the gun pointing at someone, because at that point you can pull the trigger because you're on target.
Yep.
Versus if you just kind of whip it out, which I know you are known to do. You have to literally get from the holster straight out, in that long arc, in order to then be able to pull the trigger. So your response time is much quicker. So good job, man.
Thank you, man. Well, let's de-escalate and get to the show.
Let's do it. Let's turn over to Jack and Cola.
Yeah, awesome. We have a great guest today, Jack King from LC King Manufacturing out of Bristol, Tennessee. And as you can see, we both love his clothing. I'm wearing the blue jacket, and you've got his.
I've got the pointer jacket on. Get that one right there. I got some tiki pins on it. I like to wear this, when it's a little cooler out, to the tiki bars. But yeah, when you said we were gonna get Jack on here, I was thrilled. I was really excited for this. So
I love everything he has. And then we've had Nicola on our show. She's working on all of our on all of our social for Schofield's Flowers and everything. And so Nicola Angelos from Shagbagg, Get Shagged on IG, is going to be our MC today. So you got a prettier one than me, Jack. And then Jack, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm coming to you live from the sewing floor at LC King Manufacturing. We're in downtown Bristol, which is in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains. We're in rural Appalachia, and I'm sitting here on the sewing floor. I got sewers behind me. I got sewers in front of me. So you're in for a treat if you hear a lot of buzz and noise, because people are actually making clothes right now as we're talking.
Oh, that's great. That's
awesome.
That's great. So, Nicole, I'll let you get right into it, because you're the fashion maven here.
Well, so
I just wear it well.
Yeah, exactly. That's the model today.
And you look so sharp.
Exactly. Yeah. So looking back at your guys' impressive history, been around since 1913. The company originally founded from your great grandfather, whose steps you followed in. I mean, basically, I wanted to introduce you as the closest thing to Levi Strauss that you're going to find here in America. Never is sold out, gone overseas. You guys have kept it right there in Bristol since then. So, I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, basically,
what's really unique is we're still sewing in the original factory we started in, and so we've been here for 107 years. And we started in one part of the building, which is in the next room. And in the late 20s, we built the room that I'm standing in. And in the 1940s, we built the fourth room that's attached to the building as well. So it's a 55,000 square foot sewing factory located in a rural downtown in Tennessee at the corner of 7th and Shelby.
Wow, that's amazing, Jack. And I mean, one of the reasons I was so impressed, I read your history and I was wearing your clothes, and people always come up and say, God, I love that jacket you got, And so then I started reading your history, and it's like, oh my God, this is no different than Schofield's Flowers. My grandfather started in 1896. We sold it, and my mom sold it after my dad died in 76. And then I brought back the brand like 2.5, 3 years ago, and we're rocking and rolling now. And we've got the podcast. We're talking about doing some collabs.
Well, that's what was sort of funny. So I'm like, why is a florist calling me to do a podcast? I don't know much about hydrangeas, and I don't know much about orchids, but I do know about how to do the 3-needle French fell, and I know how to do top stitch, safety stitch, and stuff like that. But I couldn't understand why a florist was calling me to do a podcast. And I'm pretty glad I've responded back to say, hey, who is this cat?
Didn't know I was from the mob. The minute he heard that, he picked up the phone.
Well, you never know. Yeah.
Probably harkens back to.
Just so you know.
I was going to say, probably just harkens.
All the emails.
Oh, wow.
What's that?
Yeah.
He answers all the emails.
Wow.
That comes in through the customer service. That's the first thing I do every morning when I get here about 6:30. Is I start going through the emails and answering what needs to immediately be addressed, and then I'll come back around 10 o'clock and finish up.
And Jack, I think that kind of speaks volumes. Your garments are so well made. Obviously, they're made here in America. Like the details and everything that you do shines through. It only makes sense that you're probably answering the emails as well for customer service.
Yeah, because I'm the one. I really know the product, and I know the nuances about it. And if the customer has an issue, I want to make sure we take care of the customer the best we can. We're not going to make everybody happy. I can't do that. And I get a lot of cuss words sometimes, and that's okay. I don't mind that, But I'll do whatever I can to try to make that customer happy. Not everybody can be pleased, but at least I'm replying back to them to say, hey, this is the deal, and this is the way I can make it better for you. That's
well, I love watching your IG a couple weeks ago when the guy said, "Who wears this stuff?" and he got hammered. He got hammered. It was like, I do, motherfucker. Look at me. I'm looking good.
Exactly. People who want to look tasteful in public.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I think that's a good segue to to me. I wear it to the nicest restaurants. I wear it if I'm on the red carpet. Yeah, I wear it everywhere, and then yet I go on my motorcycle trip and I got it on too. So boots.
But you want to hear something funny? Scof, the jacket you're wearing was one of the costumes or one of the outfits that Goody Mob used to wear when they were performing. They would wear that jacket and along with a matching pair of Lot 32 LCs, which is that denim with the 3-needle white stitching. Goody Mob used to wear that as their uniform in their band. And
wow.
I don't know if you remember them or not. Yeah.
I don't, but we're gonna have to pull them up and definitely check that out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's way back when, probably from the mid '90s. I just remember shipping them, and because we used to sell to a customer down in Atlanta called Ross Unlimited, and that's where all the rappers used to go and buy all their stuff. And I know Goody Mob went in and bought all their stuff for their band one time.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Some look up on the Google Goody Mob.
Yeah. Love that.
Scof, I agree though. Like with my jacket, I wear it, it's my going out jacket. I wear it when I go to like tiki bars if it's cooler out. Maybe a flower Hawaiian shirt underneath or something too. But I got engaged in this jacket up in the mountains. I use it as a raincoat though too, because I waxed mine. So now it's waterproof, and so I can, the 3 times a year it rains here, I've got a raincoat.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's funny because fans here.
Right.
Well, it's funny because
the collars.
The guy asked, "Who wears this stuff?" And I said, "Well, it's someone who wants a jacket that memories can be made in," and that just is proof of it. The man got engaged in that jacket, so it doesn't get any more memorable than that.
Nope.
No,
definitely not.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, that's great, Jack. That really is
beautiful. Well, I think since we started talking about the stitching, why don't we go into your triple stitch, the techniques that you guys use and why it has worked for you guys over the years and how it evolves with somebody's life.
Sure. So one of the unique things about us is that we do what's called a 3-needle fell, and if you'll go on to our Instagram, you'll see Micah. He's actually performing that on a hickory stripe jacket, but it's got only 2 needles in the machine at that time, and it's a machine that we brought in the 50s. I think it's a 38-600 Union Special. But what happens is the fabric is folded like this, and then it's folded like this, and Micah guides it with his hands, and he runs it with his feet. That's the best, like a pedal, and it just sort of slides through the machine, and he actually, with a feather touch, and this young man has mastered it. We also have Connie. She's doing it here right now on some jeans. But it's a unique sewing application that's really not replicated anymore, except in Japanese denim mills or some other kind of places. But it's how we've always sewn blue jeans and jackets back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and still today. It's just a sewing application that we use. And then on Scope, what if you'll notice on your shoulder right here and down your arm and then down your side, it's got, you see all that double needle, all that. If you open your jacket up on the inside, you'll see that it's all folded up into itself, and that's called a double needle felled machine, a double needle fell. And it just adds to the character of the jacket. It's just not, you don't see the fabric seams and stuff like that. Nice. Oh yeah. Now okay, so what's unique is that is the second pattern of that jacket in its life, and the only reason that we repatterned the jacket was so we could put a pocket in it for a cell phone. Now, who's the other gentleman on this? The guy in the Pointer brand jacket. That one doesn't have an inside pocket, and it has a different kind of construction. Okay. So when you guys are together, you can compare the construction, because his just has a surged shoulder, where yours has a felled shoulder, and it's just a different sewing application. But that's the second pattern in 107 years, and we did it so you could put a cell phone in it.
Yeah, Fratty, you had a question about the Porter, right, Fratty? What was that?
Yeah, I did. Jack, I've noticed, more recently the Porter brand isn't really on the website. I guess I'm curious as to where, the Porter brand came from, because obviously it's kind of like when I first heard of Pointer brand, I was like, wait, is this LC King or is this Pointer brand? And then I kind of looked into it more, learned about it, and I'm like, okay, now I understand it. And then now I'm not seeing as much. So I'm kind of curious on that.
Well, here's what it is. Pointer, the trademark Pointer is owned by a Swiss company. That's the deal. we've always licensed it. And so one of the things I wanted to do was to really bring a spotlight onto the factory. And that's why we started transitioning everything over to LC King, because LC King is the maker of all the garments all these clothes are wearing. And we just didn't like promoting a Swiss company anymore. We wanted to promote ourselves. And so it's always been a license. If any of your viewers or listeners know anything about trademark law, it's real messy. And we didn't really do ourselves justice back in the 70s and 80s. And it sort of got pulled out from under us. And there was really nothing we could do about it. It's trademark law is first to file, irregardless where you are. And we had just got shut out. We're just a sewing factory. We didn't really pay attention to trademark, all that kind of stuff. And it sort of got pulled out from under us. And then all of a sudden, so what we did is we made an agreement with this company that really owns it. It's a Swiss company. And so, you're going to start seeing less and less pointer. That we're not making any more pointer. We're not going to make it. We're going to make the product LC King coming out of LC King manufacturing. So that's the history of pointer. We used to make it.
Yep.
And we used to license it. We're not making it anymore.
Okay, cool.
Kind of reminds me of what we talked about on a previous episode, Scof, with the Buffalo Trace Distillery, where for the longest time they were making whiskeys under legacy brand names and never made a Buffalo Trace whiskey. And people are like, okay, that's cool. You make all these other companies whiskey, but where's yours?
And it's my favorite.
Well, see, that's a really unique thing that you said, because we used to make a lot of other brands. We used to make WearGuard, which was the Sears brand. We used to make all the Red Camel, which is for Belk. I don't know if you guys don't have Belk in the West.
Sure.
The Belk is a big Southeast department store. So we used to make all Red Camel for Belk. We used to make, let's see here. Oh, Roscoe. All this is way before NAFTA. Remember, it's all before NAFTA.
Yep.
Roscoe is a camouflage company. We used to make all the coveralls for them. We used to be Bass Pro Shop's #1 hunting apparel supplier under Red Cap, under the Red Cap brand. And so we used to sew all this stuff. We sewed Cabela's and stuff, So we sewed the Pointer brand, but we never really did anything with the trademark. We just, I don't think we really knew to do anything with it. Then all of a sudden we got a knock on the door and said, hey, we own you. We're like, oh, well, we don't like that.
That's good. That's good.
And so we're like, well, what do we do now? We're like, well, you have to pay us. We're like, okay, well, we'll pay you, but we're not going to pay you for life. And so I made the decision 4 or 5 years ago that, hey, we're going to trickle off this gravy train that they're on and just start making our own product. And we shorted our trademark worldwide. We got Madrid Protocol, and and that means that you are now in a national worldwide registry. And it was a lesson learned. So anybody listening or watching this podcast, and you got a brand, you better get yourself trademarked, because it can be pulled out from under you and you won't even know it. We had this company in Japan that owned us, and we had no idea.
Wow. That's crazy. That's good information, because there's a lot of your trademark, right?
Yep.
I think it.
President of Franklin Sports gave me my trademark.
Like, isn't it till to this day, Apple, like the computer companies paying Apple Records, which is like a small record label that had the Beatles on it at one point, but it's like they're so completely different. Like, there's no way you're confusing the two. Yet, because of trademark and all that, to keep the Apple brand, they have to pay them. And I mean, at this point, Apple's so big, it's just what they do.
It's what they do. And Supreme has got the same issue going on, I think, in Korea and a couple other countries. I know that I read an article of last year about the Supreme brand and its issues with its trademark
as well.
Yeah, that's a great brand too. I love their stuff. It's like total street.
Right.
But that can affect a lot of different issues. So
But anyway, that's your answer about the Pointer. But anyway, so we want everybody to buy LC King. And what's unique about that logo that you have on your jacket, Scope, is it's got a fist with a spear, and that came off my family crest from 1609.
That's beautiful.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, we drove it all the way home, with that. So that's where the hand with the spear comes from.
Well, I mean,
that's awesome.
That's a family brand. You know your family better than anybody. So you got to take from within, right? So
exactly.
That's great.
I'm gonna put that in the edit.
Yeah. So we're pretty excited about it.
Well, so that kind of brings me back to the history of you guys. I mean, I noticed that your great-grandfather had started it because he wanted workwear that he could hunt with the dogs, go quail hunting. Yeah. That would be, suit his ruggedness. And it brings me to one of Fratty's questions, which was, how have you now balanced this heritage brand while pushing forward with innovation and new styles from the history?
We've kept it true to what it really is. It's workwear. It's not something that's fancy, but you know what? It looks great on. Yeah. And if you can actually sew it and it lasts, and really it's the construction that leads to why it looks so good on your body. It just holds up. It fades as it should be worn, and it actually just it just holds its shape and hand is what it's called.
Yeah, the stitching. So, I love the stitching.
Yeah, because that's exactly how because it's made with machines that were brought in here in the 30s and the 40s. We still have those machines here today, and so that's why it looks so good and lasts so long, and that just adds to its own uniqueness because not many people can say, "Hey, that was sewn on a piece of machinery that came in the 30s." Actually, if you've got a pair of carpenter jeans and you got a hammer loop on it, that hammer loop was actually cut on a machine that came in here in 1918. We still run it today. It's a cutting machine.
That is crazy. So,
Fratty, like the brown duck jacket you have is completely different pattern. Scof's got the new pattern, but it's only been repatterned twice in its life.
That's great. Yep. You've talked about the machines a little bit. I'm curious, what's the I guess difficulty of upkeep and keeping those running since they're so old, and obviously they're made well and they just need maintenance and parts, but I don't think there's a factory just making parts for machines made in the 20s, 30s, 80s, whatever.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of what you can do is you can substitute parts, but we have part catalogs from all these machines, and so you just go out and you buy that one unique size die or whatever you're looking for. But there are plenty of part suppliers out there. And then one of the things we do is when we take a machine based off service off the floor, we put it up on the third floor, and then we just start robbing parts from it. Because one of the felling machines we ended up taking apart last summer and started just harvesting all the parts from it. So we have a bunch of skeletons up on the third floor of machines that we go in and just grab parts on. And I've got a sewing machine mechanic, one of my mechanics, he's a mechanic here, not here, but a mechanic for 40 years. So he knows everything there is about, a geared sewing machine versus an electronic sewing machine. So we don't have many things that have computer boards or anything like that. Well, they're mainly just gears and washers and stuff like that.
We got tattoos and everything. The tattoo, the machine is the same from I don't know how many years ago. Probably.
Yeah, same thing. And the ink goes in your skin deeper, and it's a darker tone to it because of that kind of machinery that is used versus it all being electronically pushed into you know, and regulated that way. It's a completely different application.
Yeah, interesting. What else you got?
Very cool. So kind of looking at your recommendations for customer care, depending on your raw products, your pre-washed, the sanforized products. I mean, so how do you decide which garments? I guess it's based on style design that you're going to keep raw as opposed to pre-washing, shrinking, sanforized. Okay.
Well, because we offer a 5-pocket. People like a 5-pocket jean wash. They do. They like a 5-pocket jean wash. So we've got a wash facility downstairs in our factory here that actually puts a softener on it. We really don't do a lot of stripping or any kind of harsh chemical. We really just put a softener on it, and then we pull some of the dye that the over dye that's on the garment off the fabric, and then we dry it. So for a 5-pocket jean, people really want a washed 5-pocket jean. Now, as far as our carpenter jeans, we don't wash them except for one, which is the denim scope like you've got.
Yeah.
But we don't really wash that. But for one of the reasons we have a laundry downstairs is because we make a coverall for an ammunition manufacturer. The gunpowder that goes in the Tomahawk missile is made in the next town. When the men and women are making the powder, they wear a coverall that we make, and they like that coverall soft when they put it. So so Tomahawk missile gunpowder starts here, and the men and women making that powder wear a garment made here at this factory. So we do some kind of washing, but a lot of our customers like the product rigid. They don't want it washed. They want to break it in themselves. And if the customer comes to us and says, "Well, what happens if I wash it?" I said, "Well, if you wash it and it doesn't fit, we'll still take it back. The whole thing is we want to keep you in a
It froze up there a bit.
To wash it just like with U-Scope, all of a sudden it just starts hugging up on your body, and it actually fits a little bit better. But you didn't really want to tell the customer that. You wanted them to experience it.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, I'd say I'm in that boat too. Like I think for me, like I work with
Hello.
Are you there? Jack? I hear you.
I can hear you, but you're a little chatter, but you're frozen, Jack.
There he is.
Here we are.
All right. Jack, I was gonna say, like I do like amateur level leather work, and I would say similarly to with like leather, I really enjoy kind of that process where it naturally patinas. So like with raw denim or these jackets, over time it's gonna wear to my body, and then it's custom. This is a one of one, even though you make the same jacket that anyone else can get. This exact one is now one of one because it's fit to me. It wears how I wear it. Same with like leather goods, and it kind of personalizes it, I think.
Yeah, it just makes it you are creating the jacket for yourself as you're wearing it and breaking it in for you.
That's great.
Beautiful.
I had a question. You mentioned a missile company or whatever next sort of town over. What about like World War II? What was happening with you guys in World War II? And
Scope, I'm not hearing you, Scope, right now, just so you know.
Huh.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I'll text him.
Yeah,
I can hear you. Yeah, Freddie, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's us or you, but Jack, my question, can you hear me now? Nope. Fratty, do you want to ask him the question?
Yeah, Jack, I think what Scof was asking is, during World War II, what, if any, production were you doing, for that war effort? I'm gonna guess he can't hear me either.
Yep. I'll text him and.
Yeah, he just dropped off.
Yeah.
Communication breakdown.
Technology.
Yeah.
Working. Sometimes it brings us closer, but creates more problems.
Exactly.
Technology didn't work. Gotta get Jack back on.
I think it's Mercury in retrograde.
Are we in that again?
I mean, it's just a common joke whenever anything like breaks down.
Yeah. I still, to this day, anytime like I have insomnia or something, I'll immediately look out and be like, "Is there a full moon?"
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my God! Seriously, it's not because last week I slept so hard because the week before the full moon, like I was waking up at 3 a.m.
Yeah. No, same thing.
There we
Yeah.
are.
There's Jack.
There he is.
Scof was asking, during World War II, was there any war efforts that you guys were, chipping in the manufacturing?
Yeah, we used to make pants for the Navy back then, and we used to make what was called a 32 LC, which was a jean that had a buckle in the back gusset. And
How
so
cool.
that's one of the things we did. It was a jean for the Navy.
Wow,
that's cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So Scof wanted to go and do his costume change, so he'll be back in a second.
Oh, fantastic. Awesome.
Yeah. I think we kind of wanted to, this is a question for Jack personally. So did you always feel compelled to get into the family business? Was there something else you want there? The head shake was right away. Just wanted to keep that leg.
This isn't anything I ever thought I would do or wanted to do or whatever. I was exporting food worldwide down in Atlanta. I was at my dream job.
Wow.
I was on my way to moving to Singapore when all this happened. And my dad called up one day and said, "Hey, I need some help." And I said, "Well, you must be hurting if you're calling me because we don't really get along." And he goes, "Well, I'm in pretty bad shape." And I'm like, "All right, we're fine." So I drove up and I met. We had a conversation, and I drove back home and I told my husband, Bill, I said, "Bill, I got to go home." I said, "You're more than welcome to come with me if you want." He goes, "Yeah, I'll come up there." And so we, that was 22 years ago that we did that. And it was it's not a decision that you would say, "Oh, I'm really glad I made it." But, I am glad I made it because these people's lives depend upon me and I depend upon them, and I've made great friends here, and I really like the people that work here and that have worked here. And I really like what I do, and I get to actually make something that I see people wearing at the grocery store, or walking down the street. And I had a part in making that jacket. Now, what's really funny is when you turn your cuff up, when you flip up your cuff and have that brown underneath.
Yeah,
I'm the man that puts that brown on that cuff right there. I'm the guy that does that.
It's so cool. Yeah, I love it. I mean, this jacket is like the shit. I just look at this. I mean, it's like I had to go and do a wardrobe change, and I brought some other hats. I'm a real accessory guy, right? So
awesome.
I go from here, this one,
nice.
It's a
nice
motorcycle,
looks great with that jacket.
Doesn't it look fucking awesome? And then I go with this one, and then I go with this.
Yeah. But anyway, so I really like I like what I do now. I really do. I really liked it more when I started participating in the sewing of the garment, because there was a point in time when I wasn't getting along with the factory. The factory wasn't getting along with me. My dad had just stepped out. So I walked upstairs and I told one of the supervisors, I said, "Mary, give me a job. Teach me how to do something so I can understand what's going on and what are all the issues that you guys are having day to day." And so I started making the low back suspenders, and low back overalls are overalls with an open back that actually have an elastic suspender to them, which I know we're out of stock of, but they're on their way. We're trying to make them. But anyway, so I started sewing the low back suspender, and then after that, I started sewing other different things. And so we wanted to really push and just get these short coats going. And so I started sewing the cuff on the short coat. And Friday, I taught myself how to run the auto hemmer because Linda was out. We needed a bunch of pockets hemmed, so I taught myself how to run the auto hammer. I'm okay at it. I'm not the best at it. I run it a lot slower than anybody normally would. But I like participating in making the stuff. I get to be with the men and women on the floor, and we have a good time. And I get to answer any questions, and I get to hear their griefs and issues, and why things aren't cut right, and how difficult it makes the garment to sew if it's not cut right. I can understand their frustrations, and so we try to get along and move the clothes across the floor. Like right now, we've got about 120. That jacket you have on, Scof, got about 120 I'm trying to get across the floor within the next 2 days down to shipping. And it just takes a organized effort to say, hey, Angie's putting the collars on, she's going to do the end finish, then we got a cap, and then we got to put the flap, and then we got to hem it, then we got to mark it for the buttons, then we got to put the buttons on, then we got to trim it, then we got to inspect it. Just a lot of work that goes to it, but the ladies know how to make this sort of dance work, and they were pretty excited about it. It's just fun. It's just fun to watch all this stuff go across the floor on a daily basis. And all of a sudden, boom, the jackets are downstairs. Like, wow, how'd that happen?
Wow. Jack, I think you said something that's really important, I think, for managers and business leaders out there, is that you wanted to connect with your people, in the factory. So you started doing the job they were doing. It's the only way that you'll understand their problems, but also understand the company, from top to bottom, of what's wrong, what's working right, how can we adjust it. And, working through that, I'm sure allowed you to connect to the brand more, which fueled that excitement for it, but also connect to your employees so that there was more synergy and harmony amongst it, so that there wasn't tensions. And I think too many times, business leaders, they just come in at the top and they're working, they're managing, they're telling people what to do, but they've never done the job themselves.
That was me, and that wasn't working. Yeah, that wasn't working. And it's funny because I was laughing with Miranda, my plant manager. Miranda's been here a lot longer than I have. She's been here 30-some years. And
wow,
this past 5 or 6 years, we've just gotten along great. And I think it's because we're both participating in making of the garment. She's up here more. I'm up here more. We're getting through all the issues, whether it's a pattern. Because when you change a whole construction of a garment, it's all new patterns. And when fabric doesn't come in right, like it's not like this brown duck that we're sewing is a little bit different than what we're used to doing, what we're used to sewing. It's just what happened at the mill. There's nothing we can do about it. It's just us trying to get through it and having to adjust the pattern to make sure that we're making a consistent quality garment for the customer. And it just adds to understanding really what's going on and being there for the customer and answering their issues. Like this made because we were making FINA stuff. And so now we're really far behind in the overalls, and we hope to get those started next week. And I know I kept telling everybody it's going to be a month. Well, now it's going to be another month, but that's just the way that's what happened because we sewed all this stuff for FEMA, which we liked doing it and America needed it. So, that's just what we did.
That's awesome.
And
we just ask that people understand that.
I think once they hit the website, Scof will be ordering them.
I definitely, if there's any extra small,
it'll be about a month.
Do you have women where, women are grabbing the extra smalls if you got them, or the smalls. I mean, I could see.
That's why we make extra. That's why we make the extra small. And here's the other thing, just so you know, here's how you transfer a woman's size to a man's size. It's add 21. I don't know if you knew that or not, but whatever a woman's size, if she's an 8 or a 10, you add 21, then she becomes a 32 waist or a 30.
Got it.
Wow.
That's the little secret is add 21, and that's how you get from women's to men's waist size.
Nice.
Women's size to a men's waist size.
Oh, that's so cool.
Awesome.
And our jeans fit. Our carpenter jean fits women fantastic because women have.
Yeah.
And especially this hickory, especially in this hickory stripe and the Fisher that's coming up next week, because carpenter jeans are roomy in the leg and full in the seat, and so what that does is that gives you extra room in the hips for women, and they actually fit women beautifully. They really do.
Yeah, I love that 5 pocket. Love that. And then that low back overalls that you were talking about, definitely calling my name.
Yep. And we make that in 28 ways. So, if you're a size 8, 6 or 8, we got your size.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool, Jack. That's really cool. We're learning some good stuff today.
Yes.
Right? And I think you should also start marketing to hockey players those jeans, with a little more roomier in the waist and legs, for your hockey players, your athletes that have some bigger legs, and jeans become quite an issue. especially with raw denim, it takes a little while longer for that to not only expand, but then I keep having to send mine to get was it darning fix, I don't know, the fix the
Darning.
yeah, darning to
Yep.
fix, the thighs, because my big legs rub together, and then I get, blowouts, and it's
TMI,
a
Yep.
TMI.
yeah.
Well, here's your problem. You're starting. Here's your problem. You started with an inferior product. It's made in China.
Yeah.
That fabric's not any good. I can tell you that right now. That's the problem, because we're sewing Mount Vernon fabric, and that means everything to us, because
Wow.
the quality of that fabric really helps our garment last forever. Just really lasts forever. But I hate to say this, but it really started with the fabric that you're using. Like Scope, that fabric, that hickory strut that you're wearing right now, it took us forever to get Mount Vernon to start making that. We used to get it from Avondale Mills, which isn't anymore, but they've been now making it for 3 or 4 years now for us, and
Yeah.
we're really excited that we're able to get it, and people like having it. And now we got Fisher coming back, and so we got a whole run of Fisher next week, and I'm pretty excited about that. So,
I love that hickory jacket that, like, Scof has. I think that's definitely going
Yeah.
on birthday and Christmas list this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
and it looks great, and it looks great after it's been washed. It really
Oh, yeah,
does.
this is
You
nuts.
wash
I
it
haven't-
and then
I
lay a
haven't
little
even
lay a
washed
steam iron to it.
Yeah. So soft.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
soft. I mean, it's just
great.
like
And it's real lightweight.
oh, it's so light. I'm going to Chicago on Wednesday. I'll take both these jackets, and then I've got another
Yeah.
one that's similar to. I just actually found over the weekend at a surf shop. Really nice brand. I'll have to tell you what it is. And then yeah, that's it. A couple pair of jeans and a lot of t-shirts and a shirt or two, and yeah, and I'll be on the road for probably a week and a half, 2 weeks.
That's all he needs.
Yeah, that's all I need. A couple hats, and I put the 4 hats in, or base. I need a whole separate bag for my hats. Right.
So okay, now hearing your history, your background, now seeing how you guys, I mean, if you look at the photo on your guys' website, it looks just like a family photo.
Yeah.
Seeing that is just so inspiring in today's day and age in America and the US. So basically, what would you tell somebody who is looking to start a USA made brand, and then what would you tell to the consumers? Because I just feel it's so important for especially the consumers to know with how the market has just been
Yeah.
inundated overseas.
First of all, don't be afraid to charge what it costs to make it. That's the issue number one. It costs more to make something here in America, and don't try to make something that you want to sell 100,000 on Amazon. Don't bother with that. Don't bother with that. What your customer is going to appreciate if it's made in America is that there are very few of them, and that's what is unique about the item per se. It's not a mass product like Forever 21 shirt or something like that, or Old Navy or anything like that. But if you're making something in America, don't be afraid to charge what it costs to make it, because everybody's got to eat, everybody's got to live, everybody got to go to the grocery store, everybody got to buy gas. But so don't be afraid to charge the customer what it costs, because I pay these people really well, and I like them, and I'll buy them lunch a lot and stuff like that. So it does cost a pretty penny to make the stuff, and also our fabric costs a lot of money. So I can't do that. Fabric costs a lot of money because those items are also made in America. And the other thing I would like to tell somebody, if they're trying to promote having something made in America, just keep shouting it and just say, hey, yeah, it's made in America, and tell everybody where the components come from. Now, not all components exist in America. Now, that's our issue right now. That's why we brought shirts. Y'all don't know this, but shirting fabric does not exist in the United States of America. Fabric for shirt.
Wow.
Huh.
Does not exist. So what we did is we partnered with a mill that would do the same kind of construction and stitching for us. But the problem is that fabric starts in someplace else. So we had those shirts made, and we just brought them in. Now, one of the great things about it is it allows us to continue to make what we make great here at the factory. And what we make great at the factory is this. We make a fantastic choice. We make a great carpenter jean. We make a great 5-pocket jean. We make a great overall when we have the capacity to make them. And we make a great, wonderful winter barn coat. We make all that stuff great. And we make a great coverall for the ammunition manufacturer. So that's what we're going to focus on, is making those things, and then have partner mills that bring in their stuff. And so we can actually share different products all in one marketplace. But for someone making stuff in America, just scream it out loud, but don't be afraid to charge what it costs to make, because it's not cheap.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a great message to the consumer as well.
Yeah, as we're the producer. As we're the producer. And quite honest, you know, Amazon, it's not what it's cracked up to be. Trust me, it's not cracked up what it is. It just isn't. It's a lot of computer programming and compliance and nickel and diming, and it's its own animal. Definitely. So we were on the Amazon, and it just wasn't for us. You lose touch with the customer when you have someone else shipping your own product. And so we just took our stuff off Amazon and said, hey, we want to be the person who fulfills and ships the stuff to the customer, because we know that, hey, we're the ones that put it in the box, put this shipping label on the package, and got it to the customer within 2 to 5 days.
That's fantastic. I love that,
yeah.
man. That's great.
I love that
all those
too.
personal touches. I mean, just makes me want to wear it more and more.
It's funny, because I was asking Bill. I said, Bill was downstairs packing some jackets. I'm like, Bill, why are you putting a little piece of tape on the sticker, because we send stickers out with the stuff. And he goes, well, I didn't want the sticker to get lost in the package, and I want the customer to see it. And I've already tested to make sure that the tape doesn't stick to the sticker. It comes off now. And he goes, I just want someone to know that we sent them this sticker in this package, in the garment that they received.
I get it.
I love it.
I get it. I put my personal things, and you want them right on top.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
we want them to know we took the time to send it.
Exactly. And ship it, and
I wrote a book of short stories, and I put it in between my card is beer coasters. So
it's a coaster.
So coasters, and then here's the book, and I brought in a really fantastic illustrator.
Perfect.
You know, Jack, something that I think rang true is when you talked about price, of not being afraid to charge what you need to charge, is because I don't mind paying a premium price for a quality product. I know this jacket, I won't need to buy this same jacket again. Like, it's going to last and last and last. But if I bought a inferior product, it's going to tear, it's going to rip, you know, different things. And then I got to buy it again. So why would I spend, you know, $50 on a cheap product, and I'm going to have to buy it year after year? Or I could purchase something of quality. It's going to be, you know, maybe a 3-time multiplier, but I'm going to have this for a decade, 2 decades, you know, whatever. And someone I follow on Instagram is really into, you know, your denims, your raws, you know, all that kind of, you know, and higher end stuff. And what they said really rang true is, just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's good. But if you're going to buy something of quality, it's going to be expensive.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it. It's funny, because like 2 emails today, this morning, one came across and goes, you know, I've got a pair of overalls I've had for 20 years, and I need a new pair, but I can't find them on your website. I'm like, 20 years. He's been wearing the same pair 20 years. Then I got another email that says this guy was looking for barn coats, and he said he bought one 10 years ago, and he now needs to get another one. I'm like, 10 years ago? Who makes something that lasts 10 years?
Yeah,
a lot of cars don't last 10 years.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That is hilarious.
Awesome.
It's funny. So we also, down in the store, we had a guy from North Carolina. If you buy anything that we've made, we'll repair it or patch it or whatever we can do to keep that garment in life. And so we had a guy bring in some overalls to be repaired, and I looked at him. I said, well, geez, I don't know what we can do. I said, one of the first things we do, we at least make them look nice by putting new overall hardware and hooks on them. But then I was looking at some of this fabric, because I can tell how old the garment is by the fabric, because you know who the fabric supplier was back in the day. And this one fabric, my goodness, I know that this fabric came out of Liberty Mills, and Liberty, gosh, it hadn't been around for 15, 20 years. And so, but anyway, it's funny just when you just see some of the stuff that we repair, that we don't mind repairing, because people are like, you know, if you could just fix this, put this patch on the sleeve, that would just mean so much. I said, well, just send it to us, and we'll do what we can. Now, you got to make sure you wash it before it comes in here, but we'll repair whatever we can. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Like
people want something that they're broke in.
Yeah, I know what I'm going to pack. I go to the same shoemaker. I go to the same seamstress. You know, I mean, that's me. And and I've had stuff probably just fall off of me because I wore it too much, because I love it. You know.
Yeah. But, we got this young man. He sent in a jacket, and I think we actually had to completely take the cuff off and put a whole new cuff on. And then we took a picture of it, and he goes, oh, man, that just adds more character to the jacket. Now I can tell him that, hey, you know, I wore that jacket so much, I burned the cuff off, and they put a new one on for me. I'm like, all right, great. You know, that's the best I could do.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Great.
Hey, did you see on our Instagram the jacket that all the employees signed? Did you all see that?
No.
We had a customer. Yeah, it's on our Instagram 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
A guy named Brad Leonard bought a jacket, and he asked if we could sew. There it is, right there. Yeah. We could sew in a piece of fabric of all the people that participated in sewing up the garment. And so we did that. So that's just, you know, a little special touch. You could do that when you make stuff in America.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, so I'm just gonna, my last question, it was the first question that we brought up before we started, which was your guys' Spotify playlist and keeping the energy going on the workroom floor, and where you guys,
Where do we get some of that? Okay, so I got a lot of that music just from when I grew up and run around and listening to 70s and 80s radio. Yeah. But then I used to listen to this guy named Larry Flick, who used to write for Billboard, and he had a bunch of UK influence, and so I just listened to he had a show on Sundays on Sirius XM. So I'd listen to him, write down some songs, or if I'd be somewhere and one of the songs, Saint Motel or something, I heard at the Wynn in the casino, and I remember that song, so I wrote it down. I was working out the other day, and I heard this song called "Feeling You," so I added that to my playlist. There's a couple songs by Portugal the Man. They wear I love. And one of their albums, they're wearing all of our clothes on the cover.
I love
all the guys are wearing the brown duck short coat.
We'll definitely check it out.
Yeah. So anyway, you can go to LC King MFG on Spotify. It's a public, shared Spotify playlist, and you can actually listen to some of the songs we play on the factory floor. Like, you know, we play like a lot of '60s stuff, like Dusty Springfield, and
I love her.
Son of a Preacher Man, and Mary J. Blige, and you know, Casey and the Sunshine Band. Just a big mix of different songs, and we have a good time with it. You know, a lot of.
You know what?
Oh gosh! Oh yeah, this is great. So whenever Linda Ronstadt "Blue Bayou" comes on, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna start singing out loud bad, and everybody's just like, "Sing it, Jack, sing it," and I'm like, I'm going to.
Well, you know, I have to tell you guys. So when I jumped on with Jack, I feel like I've known you forever, dude. You know, I think it's because I wear your clothing, and then we start talking and different broadcast, and then Fratty. Jack was a college swimmer and everything, but a big hockey guy too. And so he's asking me about the Nashville. Well, he knows the Knoxville team that Stephen used to play against at the SPA.
Yeah, and actually, one of my buddies is playing for Knoxville now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's out here in California right now, and once the season resumes, he'll be back for the Ice Bears. So I'll make sure he'll send you some autographs.
Oh, please, that'd be great. And so you won't believe this, but all weekend long I searched for catfish so I could hold up some live catfish.
Yeah.
On the screen, because that's what the predators saw on the ice.
That's awesome.
In Detroit, they started throwing live octopus on the
octopus.
Oh my gosh!
When somebody would score, the other team or whatever, right? And then
That's right.
You go to Nashville Predators game, and he goes, "There's catfish flying onto the fucking ice." I'm like, "Oh my god, that's like Sharknado."
Oh, it's great. Well, like, remember during the playoffs? I mean, they banned all the catfish from being sold in Pittsburgh during the playoffs.
Oh my god!
People were putting it on
wow.
Unless you had a Philadelphia or Pennsylvania ID. You
wow.
couldn't buy catfish in the state of Pennsylvania.
I give it up to those people who try to put a catfish or an octopus, down their pant leg or something until a goal is scored and just have it sitting there for that long. I mean, that's dedication.
Yeah.
I'm a fan, but
is.
I don't know if I'm that big of a fan.
Yeah, you see that catfish?
But anyway, I look for catfish this weekend for y'all.
You happy to see me or what?
Just a catfish.
No, I'm not happy to see you.
I wanted ones with real long whiskers, stuff like that.
That's so funny. Oh my god. Well, when my kid was playing hockey, I told you this. He was playing in. He had to play. When he was playing junior A, he was playing in Fairbanks, Alaska, and they had a 5. These are 18 to 20, and these kids are going on the ice. There's 5,000 fans in this arena on top of them. And he calls me after the game. He goes, "Dad, I am not kidding. Every fan, women, man, and child, had a mullet, and they were all missing a front tooth."
Oh, I love it. Excellent.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thing about Junior A, or they're going to these minor league games. Like Knoxville, they throw a fucking fantastic show. I know the owner there pretty well, too. So I was looking at it.
It's fun to go to.
Yeah, it's fun to go to. I was looking at investing in a minor league hockey team. And then my accountant said, "Why don't you just go burn all your money?" I said, "Good. Okay, I get the picture." My wife, I spent $5,000 on a business plan, and my wife was like, "Really? And you're not even going to buy the team now?" I'm like, "Nah, sorry, honey." But I learned a lot.
I'm sure she got a purse out of that deal.
Yeah, right. Well, listen, Jack. I know it's. We've gone. About an hour and 15 here, an hour, and.
That's fine.
I can't say thank you enough for jumping on with us. We're big fans. Thank you so much for helping us out.
I'd like to end it like this if I can. If you give me a moment, please. I'd like to say thank you to anyone who has bought or worn clothing made by CQ. Y'all take a chance and buy something from us and allow us to be on your body. It couldn't be much. We couldn't feel more honored than that. And I'd like to personally, on behalf of everyone at the factory and my family, I'd like to say thank you.
That's great. Can you say that one more time, Jack? Because you were chattering a little bit in the background. We'll just cut it in.
Sure. On behalf of everyone here at the factory who's ever bought or worn a pair of LC King clothing, I'd like to say thank you, because it's been an honor to have our clothing on your body. And on behalf of everyone at the factory, we'd like to say thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
I want to get to Bristol.
We do.
Yeah.
Y'all come on up.
Come and visit.
We need a road show.
Track. Yeah. And I'll come out and see you in LA one day. I promise.
Please.
I promise. I'll come out and see y'all.
I'd love to have you out here. It'd be fantastic.
If you come to visit stores.
Now, what side of town are y'all on?
I'm in Northeast LA, so I'm just north of downtown.
And I'm in the North Hollywood, Sherman Oaks area, which is just.
You know what's a great place? I've been there several times. One of the things we did is we took an Uber up and down the Sunset Strip drinking, and we ended up wound up at a Marymount hotel or something like that. They had this whole red room or something of red horsehair or something.
Armamon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool.
Yeah,
that's strip drinking. Awesome. Let's do it.
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll stay in touch, and all right, everyone. Well, welcome back. And Fratty, what a fantastic show, right?
Like I said before, like I was pumped for it while we're on it. Like I felt like a kid on Christmas. Like I was just so excited, had all my questions ready to go. Obviously Cola there was leading the way, but she let me ask some questions too, because I felt like I was talking to a movie star, someone that I personally have a lot of respect for. Yeah, and I thought what to me like really stood out is just how involved he is, to the point where he's like sewing stuff himself. Like he's putting that, stitching in, or taking care of everything. And I think you said his partner's actually doing stuff
Bill.
in the company as well.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of the stitching and main items for him and everything. And I
That's
think
awesome.
that's where Nicola came. She was so she's so hands-on and stitching and making prototypes, and then she brings it to the people that put everything together. So she had a real understanding, and she knows fashion better than we do. I mean, we look good in our stuff, but
I do at least.
Yeah, but when it comes down to actually knowing how to make a product,
right,
yeah, that's fantastic. So I'm super excited to see this show.
Awesome.
So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, everyone. Schofield's flower. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, shoot. I lost it. Where'd you go? Hang on.
We're here.
Before we go,